KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Welcome everybody. This is Damon Hart with Foxy Homebuyer, the Foxy Homebuyer. Just here as your guest today and super excited to be here with the real men of real estate for an exciting episode. We got a guest here and you guys are going to be ready for this one. Before we get into our guest today, our special guest, I want to just say, thank you to, KCAA and the network that we're here on today. We're a CNBC and NBC. What's so special about that is we're broadcasted in the greater Los Angeles area to about 5 million homes, okay? So if this is your first time listening, I'm super excited to have you here. And myself, my name is Damon Hart, and I am the real estate investor, and I buy most of my homes in the state of Florida. I've been doing it for over 15 years. And my claim to fame is that I've been able to help not only, sellers get rid of their homes and reinvest and do things like that, but I've also been able to take people that have no experience in real estate investing and help them gain awesome returns, humbly speaking, over the last few years. So with that being said, I'd like to kind of segue into our guest here today. He's a really good guy, somebody that I've met through some really great affiliations, and he first blew my mind when we first started talking. He's so humble, so genuine, and he's done something amazing in a short amount of time. And I think not to steal his thunder, but he's just one of those guys that, when he does something, he puts all of his mind into it, and it's really paid off for him. So I just want to get with him right now and just kind of let you guys know who's here. And it's my buddy, Shane Miller. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Damon? Yeah. So, wow, what an intro. I could never say that kind of stuff about myself. So thank you that you said it first.
You're welcome. You'd be conceited if you did now.
Yeah. I am humble is the least humble thing I could say. So you had to say it for me.
For sure.
No, but in reality, I mean, it's crazy, like you said, to even me think about what I've been able to accomplish in the time I've been able to accomplish it. And ultimately, like you said, it's really just all about going all in. So really a little bit of a background for me. Got started in mortgage in 2014, being a senior loan processor. Did that for a couple of years, bounced between companies, working those 12, 14-hour days, 60-hour weeks, making decent money. But, there's always something about it that I just always said, you couldn't pay me $2 million a year to do this, because it was just all my time was gone. I'd wake up, go to work, get off work, go to sleep. Right.
That was it.
And so even though the money was there and I was making more money than I was doing anything else before, it still was not enough for me. I knew there was something more to this, right? And so I made a transition from mortgage into commercial real estate, brokerage where we sold apartment buildings, LA to San Diego. My first experience being around other guys my age making 7 figures, right? Wow. These commission checks are massive. But once again, I was still in an environment where I had to wear the suit and tie every day, drive to work, 60-hour weeks. And I'm like, man, what did I say when I was in mortgage? You couldn't pay me $2 million a year to do this. I was working with guys that are making $1, $2, $3, $5 million a year. And I'm like, wait, am I actually going to follow up on what I said? Or am I just going to try and chase the money and give up what I was telling other people, right?
Yep.
And so during that, we'd always be talking about what are things that we can do to invest our money in? Because these guys are making fat checks, right? What do we do with it? Okay, it's cool to make money, but we got to put it somewhere.
Sure.
And for me, I'm thinking like, how do I quit my job as quickly as possible so I can just free up my time, right? And so while they were trying to focus on making good returns, I was trying to focus on replacing my income, right? And so that got started with me learning about the ATM business. Just kind of a little side note.
ATMs?
Yeah, you can own ATMs. That's it.
I mean, I know that. But what about ATMs got you, like, what was it that the idea, like, oh man, people have to invest in they're always going to go get cash somewhere? What was it about ATMs?
I think we can all relate being able to need money and saying, man, my bank isn't close, but there's an ATM somewhere,
Okay.
right?
All right.
And so I think about all the times that I've used an ATM, and I didn't realize that when I started looking into it, over 50% of the ATMs in America are owned by private individuals, right? And I was like, wait, you can buy an ATM. So started doing the math on this while I'm still working in commercial real estate. And I'm like, okay, how many ATMs do I need to buy to be able to replace this income, right?
Yeah.
And so I started with one. I'm like, man, worst case scenario, that's going to pay itself off in 2 years. It's a great return, right? Paid itself off in 4 months. And I was like, hold on, there's something to this, right? Again, I'm looking at it through the math of still real estate, like return on investment. It's like real estate. You got to put it in an actual business. You got to have contracts for that. You know, it's a monthly income. There's expenses.
Sure.
And so I was like, okay, how do I duplicate this? How do I continue to do this more and more? Because if I get enough ATMs, I'm not really working those 60 hours a week, but I can make enough money to survive. Well, that turned into eventually me building out a business where I had just over 90 ATMs between Orange County and LA. And it provided me a good enough income where I could stop doing what I was doing and do this full time. And when I say full time, I was working 10 hours a week, right? Now, I say all that because I needed to kind of be honest about how I got into actually investing in real estate. That's where my money came from. But over the years, I've had too many people ask me, how do I get in the ATM business? And my personal advice with all that I know, it's not worth it. It's extremely difficult to get into, one of the most regulated industries because the amount of cash that you deal with. Banks don't want to bank with you. They see you as a risk. And so I'm like, once again, I'm in this spot where I'm limited by my growth. I'm not making the money that I really want to make, but I've got the time. So now that I got that taste of working 8 to 10 hours a week while making just over 6 figures, I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Now knowing what I knew about real estate for the last 6, 7, 8 years, in a way where I can work the same hours that I'm working with the ATM business, right? So that's what got me attracted to short-term rentals. Because when I started hearing about people doing short-term rentals, this is again back in 2018 or so, I think, 2019.
Right.
I was like, this can't be real. Like, I know real estate really well. I was underwriting 30, 40, $50 million buildings, right? And I know the math on that. I know the math on $2 million buildings, but I'm like, the cash flow that I'm seeing on some of these short-term rentals with single-family pricing doesn't seem real. Just like I didn't think that the ATM business was real, right? Until I did it. And so I got connected with somebody that, I actually stayed at one of their short-term rentals, and I loved it so much. I said, hey, I'm looking to buy my first piece of property. I want to buy your property. And they kind of laughed and they said, Shane, if I sell any of my properties, this is going to be the last one I ever sell. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, well, look, let me tell you this. I bought it a year and a half ago for $475,000. Last year we did $550,000. That's when I was like, holy, there's something to this.
Something to this. So I'm gonna just kind of pump the brakes for a second.
Yeah.
Only because, I brought you on here and I'm excited to get you to start telling everybody.
Yeah.
But for anyone that missed it, you're in the short-term rental business.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So
So let's just unpack that for a second.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm gonna put one out of the box. You've how many properties do you have right now in that you've been in the business probably how long? 4 years, 5 years?
So I started my first short-term rental property that I bought was a year and a half ago.
Okay, so a year and a half ago. So I'm way overstating. And how many properties do you have under management right now?
So under management, we've got just over 80.
Okay.
And mind you, we're in Coachella Valley, so it's probably north of $100 million worth of real estate under management.
In a year and a half.
Yeah. And personally, I have 7 that I fully own.
Got it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But still, under management control, whatever you want to say, you're somebody's,
some money out of it.
somebody's flowing through you 80 units worth, okay?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that I want everybody to kind of get about what's special about you. It's like, obviously, you could see a little bit further, but I think a lot of people are not different from you, and they say that they see a possibility. Now, you went and got started in it. What I'd like to do for everybody listening today is give them like the ups, downs of short-term rentals. But right now, it seems like, for you, it's like you're telling us that, this thing is real, right? More than anything.
Sure.
That's the one thing you can say about short-term rentals.
Yeah.
It's real. Yeah. Would you, is that what you're telling me? Okay.
More than 100%. Those are the numbers we're doing too. That's
there you
the crazy part.
So say more about that, man.
Yeah. So, I think that the number one question that I get, now, mind you, I have to say we specialize in luxury short-term rentals. So we don't just buy a piece of property, put it up on Airbnb.
Right.
now have a fully vertically integrated operation, 45 staff, cleaners, handymen, painters, pool guys, all that kind of stuff, right? All within our control. Guest communication. Like last night, we had some wild guests at one of the properties at 2 a.m. We needed to go out to the property and say, hey, chill it down, right? Right. That's it within our own staff. We're not having to sub that out. Now, with the luxury short-term rental side of things, it's a little bit different than just your typical short-term rental because it's different metrics. But, the number one question I do get, regardless of whether it's luxury or Airbnb or short-term rental in general, is it even going to stick around? It seems like it's a fad because this whole Airbnb thing, it's only kind of popped up in the last handful of years, right? And I always just tell them, look, Jesus of Nazareth, right, 2,000 years ago was a victim of short-term rental real estate because when his mother Mary was pregnant with him and she's looking for a place to stay and she's like, man, we're traveling this long way. I need a hotel to stay at, which is a short-term rental, by the way. The landlord was doing business so well, he said, sorry, no vacancy. I'll rent out my barn. You can stay in the barn, right? So that's just a funny story to tell you that at least 2,000 years ago, short-term rental real estate's been around.
That's awesome.
So it's just kind of changed shape over the years.
For sure.
And if you notice, I'm always using the word short-term rental. Most people say Airbnb, but that's just a company. That's just, they're a tech company.
Right.
They don't own a single piece of real estate. Right? I'm the one that owns the real estate.
You're the one that holds that. So look, I feel like this is a awesome start. Just like everything else you do, we're going, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to give as much value as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to hop right into a quick little break. And then what I want to do next is I want to pull back a little bit and get right into kind of how Shane got started and really what you want to do to get into short-term rentals if that's something that you would want to be excited about. And I think you might. So with that, let's take a little break and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316 and become one of the finest women in real estate.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Hey guys, it's Damon, Mr. Foxy, Damon Hart, and I'm here with the real men of real estate. And I just want to say, hey, come and watch us this Sunday, 1 p.m. live, every Sunday. Okay, we're going to be on KCAA Radio, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. If you got a minute, just tune in. We can't wait to have you here. I'm going to be there. If you can't make it on there, we're going to be at Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, or Android app on Building Solid Foundations channel. So tune in. But you know what you got to do in the meantime. Keep it foxy.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Looking to attract your target market without soliciting or doing the cold calling? Call Marie Wade and book your consultation. Branding gives you the power to create a unique and classy perception of your business for your target audience. A marketing plan without the right branding will always cost more, take longer, and tend to deliver subpar results compared to a well-branded business. Marie Wade is a branding strategist who formulates effective marketing and media programs to promote your business in building your name, brand, and legacy. Marie has over 10 years of experience and a proven record of creating strong brand content for business owners, entrepreneurs, and companies using her creative ideas, recommendations, and innovative programs. Book now at mariewait.com or call her at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316.
So welcome back, guys. We're here with Shane Miller, a short-term rental extraordinaire. He won't tell you that, but I will, okay? So look, Shane, you were talking earlier about kind of how you got into short-term rentals, and I didn't want to step over that because there was this guy that you wanted to buy a short-term rental, but he wouldn't sell it to you. So what happened? Like what?
Yeah. So I would say it really came from all my background in sales and all the different companies I worked at. I just hate hearing no.
Okay.
And I never tried to walk away from something that I've spent some kind of energy on until I've exhausted all options. So instead of just saying, all right, thank you, and looking on to the next thing, I said, all right, well, if you won't sell me this property, can you partner with me? Because obviously you're doing something right. So instead of me trying to get into this and figure it out myself, you've obviously got something going on. This is your first couple properties that you just got too. Let's try to do something together. And over the last year and a half, it's been just over 2 years that I've been building this partnership, almost about 2.5 years, year and a half since I bought my first one.
Yeah.
Is just developing this partnership in the sense of how can we help each other? And they ended up going down the route of just pure management, right? They just want to be more so managing the properties, which this is 80 plus properties we've got under management.
Right.
And for me, I specialize in the acquisitions, the underwriting, the big vision of how the property should look, and ultimately acquiring investor capital. They're not very good at pitching stuff and figuring out numbers. And for me, I see the sexiness of this business, and it's easy for me to talk to other people and say, hey, if you invest this much money, this is how much money you can make, right?
Sure.
And so that's kind of the role that I filled. But really, I've only been able to accomplish this in the time that I've done it through partnering with these people. Because, man, if I'm to think about the last 2 years and me doing it on my own, I might have 2 properties, and I don't even know if they'd be doing what they're doing, right?
So I mean, this is perfect, right? In any time I've ever had a conversation with someone experienced or inexperienced, they always ask me the advice. They say, hey, Damon, if I were to get into the business, what would I do? And I always give them the same advice, and it's perfect that's come for you because it's unsolicited, and it's obviously worked for you.
Yeah.
And that is partner with somebody that's in the business, and find a way to get some credibility with that person. Do your homework. Sounds like you did your due diligence.
For sure.
But it was just doing that allowed you, it sounds like, to leapfrog. Like, I mean, I know some guys that have been in short-term rental space for years, and they don't have 80 properties under management. Let's just call it what it is.
And not to brag, when I say 80, like I said, we are in the luxury space in Southern California. So our 80 properties could equal 300 properties in another part of the country, right? As far as value, income, all those numbers.
100%.
Right? So I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just saying I still can't believe how much we've accomplished in this time. And it's only because of partnering. It's not even a unique thing either. Like Warren Buffett says it all the time. He doesn't buy a business unless there's a proven track record. Right. He's turned down many opportunities that are successful business. He says, come back to me in 10 years when you've still got this same performance, right? So I'm just copying what people before me have done is, hey, the best way to make money and guarantee, I don't like saying guarantee, but to minimize your risk as much as possible. Right?
I like the pivot there, yeah, for sure.
is to just ride the coattails of someone else's success. You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
100%.
Right? Elon Musk bought Tesla. People think that he founded it. No, it was already a thing and he bought it. And then he just grew it, right? So it's common in all levels of success. So I don't take any personal credit that I'm some smart person.
Sure.
I just read enough books and talk to enough people because I'm kind of dumb. And I just want to have, other people help me out and I can help them out.
Yeah.
It's not fun being successful when it's just you.
Yeah, 100%. So You know, it's it's funny, the humility and also the part where you say like, "Hey, I'm dumb." I've had a guest here. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a psychologist, and he said, "Look, I'm okay telling people I don't know. I don't know it." And I think that sometimes when we're getting into something that we're unfamiliar with, like let's say call it real estate investing, if that's the case.
Yeah.
We're concerned that that's our Achilles heel, not knowing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's your power, because if you can admit that and say, you know what, I just don't know what I'm doing here, and ask for help and do what you do know, you're proof again, like everybody else.
You just slid over it too. I'm going to stop you because the one key thing that you said is ask for help.
Amen.
There's a big Grand Canyon-wide difference between saying I don't know what I'm doing and, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, I need help. Right?
Yeah.
Because most people have this ego of like, I want to figure it out myself. I don't care about the credit.
Right.
In fact, you're not really going to see my face. You're not going to even see my name. All my listings, my name isn't even on them. It's my property manager. It's her picture.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
It's not me. And
sure.
so it's not about this ego thing. It's having the humility to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help.
Yeah, for sure. And
that's the key part.
And right? I love that. I love that, which is true, right? If you're just sitting in the corner and just saying, yeah, I don't know, and then you don't ask for help and then take action, we're not going anywhere.
You do nothing.
So look, here's the one thing people are gonna know about you after today. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe you didn't know that before, but now people are gonna know. It's no longer
it's just
secret.
you and me here.
No,
man.
no. These cameras aren't for show. Okay, the microphone. This is not for show. This is a real microphone. But that's cool that you're dropping gems like this. So I guess for me and anybody else is listening, I don't know. Like I kind of got. When I first met you, I got tied up between the STR, short-term rental, and the Airbnb. Those were like two things I was like, well, what's the difference? But when I sat down and actually understood it, huge difference, man. So like, tell me, explain to me, and for anyone else that doesn't know, what's the difference between STR and Airbnb, let's say?
Yeah. So again, like I said earlier, Airbnb is just a tech company. They're just a vessel. They're like Google. They're like anything that just when someone searches something, it makes it easier for someone to find it.
Okay.
Ultimately, it's the county or city that issues the permit, the legal permit to be able to operate as a short-term rental. And other than that, there's really no other force that provides you the capacity or incapacity to operate. Airbnb is just a vessel. It's one way to do it, right? But I know guys that their entire short-term rental business is centered around working with insurance companies. And I think it's something I think it's like every 2 minutes in America, a house either burns down or gets flooded or destroyed. And so these people that have these houses that are inhabitable, the insurance companies have to put them up somewhere else, right? And so typically it's about 10% of the house's value that they give as a credit towards this housing, right?
Okay.
And so with like my buddy, he's built relationships with insurance brokers and he said, hey, I have this portfolio of X number of properties. If you have somebody that needs a house to stay in, hit me up. And mind you, he's making more money than he'd be making as a long-term rental.
Sure.
Not as much as a short-term rental, but he doesn't have the turnover. So it's right in the middle, right?
Right.
So his whole business is built around just working with insurance brokers. It's a short-term rental because sometimes they might be there for 2 days. They might be there for a month and a half, right?
Wow.
But it's guaranteed money because it's coming from an insurance company.
Right.
He doesn't have to find the prospects. The insurance companies bring it to him. And that's just one other avenue.
Right.
There's other people I know that do like sober living houses, traveling nurses, even just having a property if the county or city allows it, events. You might be able to just have 10 events a year at a property if it's nice enough. And that's all you need to do to cover costs and make money. Right?
Wow.
So I try to, just like if someone calls me the wrong name, I probably get called Sean more than Shane. It's just a gentle, it's Shane, right? It's the same thing with Airbnb short-term rental. Most people just think of it as Airbnb because they've done a great job with marketing and branding.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I mentioned this story about Jesus in Nazareth and this barn that he was staying in, right? That's short-term rental. So short-term rental real estate, the aspect of being able to stay somewhere for a short period of time, the law says less than 30 days, right? It's been around forever, aka hotels. That's short-term rental real estate.
100%.
Right?
And you guys, right, in your holdings, in your management, you guys tend to specialize in the luxury side too, right? You're not just doing any old house. These are things that you're picking strategically to focus on.
Oh yeah.
So I guess say a little bit about like why luxury versus just the everyday to day? Because most people would think like, hey, I just get myself a house anywhere and I'm in.
Yeah. So kind of like we talked about earlier when it comes to like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I need help.
Right.
I think the biggest holdback, the biggest obstacle that most people have to get into, especially when they're getting into real estate, is price, right? People are like, how do I do it for the cheapest amount possible, right?
Okay.
And so if everybody thinks like that, what's happened to those properties that are $1 million, $2 million, $3 million properties that require hundreds of thousands of dollars down just to buy it,
right?
Let alone maintain it and whatever. Most people are scared. I look at it as just numbers at the end of the day. So with the luxury market, we can do the same kind of return numbers, or even sometimes better with the luxury side as smaller. So let me ask you this. If we're averaging 50%, 60% cash on cash on a property, would you rather have a $200,000 property or a $2 million property?
Yeah.
Right? So for me, it's just it's a bigger number with less doors to manage, because ultimately I don't want to have hundreds of properties. I eventually want to titrate my portfolio down to like 30 or 40 properties that are just killer.
Yeah.
And so the luxury style of market is not only a higher barrier of entry, which in reality it's not. It's if you just have the money, and there's plenty of money out there that investors want to throw at.
Sure.
But it's also just the competition too. There's not that many other properties that can host as many people as we can host. Not that many people that have the capacity to even manage the type of properties like this, because sometimes it's a lot, right?
For sure. So, you know, when you say all this, I just caught a little inclination of something we talked about offline, and that's your love-hate relationship, more hate than love with the banks. So if we, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a quick little break here, and I'm gonna hop back in, and we're gonna talk to Shane about his love-hate relationship with the banks and how he overcame that. So on short-term rentals. So stay tuned.
Looking to attract your target market without soliciting or doing the cold calling? Call Marie Waite and book your consultation. Branding gives you the power to create a unique and classy perception of your business for your target audience. A marketing plan without the right branding will always cost more, take longer, and tend to deliver subpar results compared to a well-branded business. Marie Waite is a branding strategist who formulates effective marketing and media programs to promote your business in building your name, brand, and legacy. Marie has over 10 years of experience and a proven record of creating strong brand content for business owners, entrepreneurs, and companies using her creative ideas, recommendations, and innovative programs. Book now at mariewaite.com or call her at 951-378-5316, 951-378-5316.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316 and become one of the finest women in real estate.
Welcome back. We're here with Shane, and we're just talking about what it's, you know, the four-letter word, right? The BANK, right?
Yeah,
Those guys.
yeah.
I mean, you made short-term rentals sound so amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that, you know, there were some challenges when you got rolling with some of the banks. I guess for people that are looking to invest, I mean, when people invest, I'd say the best thing about you as a person that has an individual has cash and wants to get into real estate, you can partner with an operator, but then you become the bank, and that gives you a lot of leverage and incentive because we help you to maximize your returns, just like banks do.
Exactly.
But if you could, for anyone that's listening, what is it that that you can do with capital, number one, and what are some of the struggles that you saw with banks, which is making it so difficult to buy property?
Sure. Yeah, because I mean, like what I was saying earlier, when it comes to, you know, the luxury properties costing more, first question is that someone's asked, well, I don't even have that much money. How do I do it?
Right.
Second is, I might even have that amount of money, but how do I even get a loan for it? You know, my W-2 income or my whatever income, I can't qualify for $1 million loan, right? And even if I could, right now current rates are so high, it might not pen out, right? And so these are the things that I also had to pivot, looking at some of these deals and realizing, man, why am I going through all these processes with the bank, all these appraisals and the resubmissions, and we need a new exception for this, right? And there was a deal that I had. This is actually happened to be the third seller finance, creative finance deal that I closed, but it was actually out of necessity. I wasn't even thinking about this in the beginning. Now I am. But long story short, this bank, I'm in escrow, they extended escrow 3 times. Not because of me, they had all the docs and everything for me, they were just dragging their feet. And the seller got to the point where they're like, look, are you guys gonna close or not? And I'm like, dude, trust me, it's not me. You can even talk to the bank. The bank called them and said, hey, it's not Shane. Just give us some more time. And eventually the seller hit us with a notice of performance. We had 72 hours. Well, my agent didn't see that until 2 days later.
So
and
it's
now
24
I'm left
hours
with
now.
less. It was like 17, 16 hours before I actually had to figure this out, or else the deal's gonna close. I'm gonna lose my earnest money.
Wow.
All that stuff, right? So I went to the seller and I said, look, you know I've got the money. You saw my proof of funds. You know I want the deal. I know you want to sell the deal too. You're in this position where you need to sell. That's a little keynote. Make sure that they're in a need to sell.
Right.
But I said, I'm going to give you a solution where I can guarantee that we're going to close tomorrow. But it's going to require you to be a little bit open-minded here, right? Since in this scenario, this guy didn't have any debt. He built the house himself 17 years ago. You don't have any debt on this. What if you became the bank? I said, what do you mean? I said, I would put the same exact money down that I would have put down with my lender. You've seen the money. I could wire it to you tomorrow. But then the rest of that amount, you carry as a loan, just like a bank. We're going to negotiate the interest rate, which, by the way, I negotiated like almost a 3% lower interest rate than what the bank was going to offer me on this deal. I'm not paying closing costs. He's not dealing with anything other than he just wants to sell this property and get out of there, right? So I said, if I give you interest rate payment on this, we amortize it over 30 years, and I don't always do this, but I said I'll give you a 10-year balloon. So instead of waiting 30 years, I'll pay you back in 10 years. And so I did the math. I said, over the next 10 years, the interest is going to make you actually this much more money. So even though I'm buying it for the price that we agreed upon, if you carry this note, you're actually going to make like another $100-something thousand on this.
Which he's the bank.
And he realized, you can do that? I said, yes, you can. Talk to the title company. Title company sent me over 2 documents, a deed and a grant deed and a note. Right? 2 pieces of paper. They overnight it to me. I signed it, sent it back. The deal was closed the next day. And I realized, why am I even dealing with the banks? I just saved like $1,400 a month on my mortgage payment by negotiating with the seller. I was able to close it technically in less than 24 hours. So I didn't have to go through this whole 40 days of spending money and pulling my hair out, wondering if we're going to even close the deal or lose it. And I realized, hey, that's the way that you can get into real estate, right? You can negotiate terms. I know guys that have done terms where they have 0 money down.
I have.
I've even seen people that do deals with 0% interest. And it just requires you to be a little bit more creative and open-minded. And I realized, man, why am I dealing with the banks? Why am I giving them my money? Right? And so there's a lot of different ways we can open that up. But I mean, realistically, the point I'm trying to make here is that regardless of the price, regardless of the amount of money that you have, there's always a way to negotiate a deal where it works out for both of you, because that's the ultimate thing, right? I don't negotiate these deals with seller financing so that I just save money and the seller loses. Like I just said, he ended up making more money off this deal than if he would have just sold it traditional.
Sure.
Right.
And Shane, you know, for you, I mean, let's put a little context on this too. You're dealing with homeowners in Coachella Valley. These people have homes that are at the higher end of medium price range here in California, right? So these people are not, these people are relatively sophisticated, I would imagine. Some,
Yeah.
right? And
less desperate for money.
okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Let's say less desperate for money for sure. So it has to be a win-win, right? These people are experienced. They know what they have in value. But what your option does is it gives people a way to get more out of something that they would traditionally just have to go and go through a bank.
Sure.
And now you got a win-win. So it sounds like you almost cut out the middleman.
Oh, I didn't almost, I did, right? And I want to make it clear too, like just like a bank checks
Love
your
it.
credit score and your
Love
debt
it.
to income,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you're not taking down deals that cost way more than you can afford,
Yep.
right? You still underwrite the deal, see if it still pans out. But I mean, like I said earlier, I don't like to make guarantees. This is a way that you can guarantee closing a deal. Because when you put the deal up into the lender's hands of whether or not they're going to close it or change the rate or whatever, the appraisal came short, you can avoid all that if you don't need it, if you don't want it. You
Right.
can say, I've got the money, let me show you my bank account to prove that I've got the money for this deal. If you agree with this and we both agree, I guarantee you that this deal will close.
Right.
And that's what got me that deal.
Because it's between you and I.
Just you and me.
That's right. Wow. Yeah. And that's, I mean, you know, I love this story, and you and I both know owner finance has been around forever.
Sure.
Right. And it's something that we utilize in our strategies as well. It's been super successful in how we're able to work with sellers and also our investors. You know, when we go out and we raise capital for the investments that we do in single fam and short-term rentals on a smaller
there's the
scale,
debt, yeah.
right? And have them be the, you know, have them to be the participants. We make it happen all the way around. But I think what's special about what you guys are doing is now you're starting to see the potential. It's like your eyes are wide open now that you're like, why were we wasting time?
Right in front of me the whole time.
Right.
Like I said, I have a background in mortgage, so I think that was just kind of my go-to not thinking route
Yeah.
of like, let's just look at it as a mortgage and what are the rates. And I realized like, wait, I've done this a couple times already, and it was the most painless experience. Again, made me a lot more money, saved me money,
Made
right?
the seller happy.
Don't have to worry about everybody,
Right.
right? So yeah, it's definitely something that I think we're going to see a lot more over the next couple of years.
100%. So look, let's talk a little bit more about that, because I tend to agree with you. You know, we can all see over the last few years what happened when rates dropped. Okay, and I'm old enough now to have seen when things changed dramatically, when rates kind of changed up and down. I've been on both sides.
Sure.
I think what we're coming into now is a season of, no one's sure, but we know for a fact, like most likely it's not going to go down like it did before.
Sure.
We're only going up from here.
Sure.
So with owner finance, how do you think that's going to impact your short-term rental business?
I mean, honestly, our goal, if we can help it, is 100% of the acquisitions moving forward will be creative financing.
Owner
If it's
finance,
owner
right?
finance, something like that, yeah. I mean, not even just owner finance, it could be something like subject to, where we take over the existing mortgage, right? So if there's not an option where the seller can carry 100% or wants to carry 100%, they might have current debt in place, debt that might be still at 2 or 3, 4%. It's going to be an option, because I think the biggest thing here is price, right? Most people are so caught up on price, especially because of banking and appraisal and all that. When more people learn how creative financing works, owner financing specifically too, when they don't have debt, price doesn't matter. Because most people don't do the math that at current rates, the average cost of a loan over 30 years is more than double the loan. So if you take out a $600,000 mortgage with current rates, the cost of that mortgage is more than $1.2 million over the life of the loan. So when you do the math on seller finance, if you can get that deal for less than $1.2 million over the next 30 years based on rate, I'll pay $1 million for a $600,000 property if it's at 0% interest.
Correct.
So I just saved $200,000.
Yeah.
Right. So the season that we're coming into, where prices, we don't know if it's going to go up or down or sideways. We don't know what rates are going to do.
Right.
If the terms are right, if the rate's right, if the payment's right, doesn't matter. I'll overpay all day. In fact, most of the properties I have overpaid for.
Right.
But it's still cash flow.
There's still cash
It's still
flow.
a win-win. Right.
And that's the magical thing. So it's, with real estate investing, I know that most people, when they get into it, it's all about a return. They want to make money. But I think the most compelling part about real estate investing for most people, which I think we lose sight of, is what's the money going to give us? And you talked about it a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
Talk about the freedom. You wanted to leave the job because you're like, dude, I don't want to, I can make $2 million, but I don't want to do this. I had that same experience too. It's like, I'm making great money, still living at home with my parents when I'm in my 20s, but I'm like, I know there's got to be something better than this because I'm working from morning till night.
Yeah.
So, with short-term rentals, you seem to have it pretty dialed in on like how you get there. But what do you think stops most people? I don't even know if you can even answer this, but I'm asking. What do you think stops most
from
people?
investing in it or
From
starting it?
Yeah, investing in short-term rentals as a way, by way of like just getting into real estate. What do you think is the big hurdle for most people?
I mean, I think it just goes back to what I said earlier of not knowing, right? People get this analysis paralysis. They want to try and figure it out 100% before they do something, right? And I think that at the end of the day, you don't need to know it all.
Yeah.
A farmer who waits for perfect weather never reaps a harvest, right?
Say that again.
A farmer who waits for perfect weather never reaps a harvest.
There we go. That's the first time I ever heard the farmer one. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, the farmer, regardless of the weather, he's out there sowing seeds.
Yeah.
Right? He just knows what he needs to do. And the same thing with short-term rentals or any kind of investment real estate is that the average person doesn't do it because they're waiting for perfect circumstances. Like I said, you can shortcut that process if you find out other people who are already specializing it and just partner with them.
And already doing it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the wait for the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Just partner with somebody that's been doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's deep, brother. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So, man, look, I feel like you have this magic about you that you could just break kind of complex ideas down to really simple stuff because you know it is, right? Like you say with a certain level of certainty. So what I want to do is take a quick break. We're going to wrap up here and just kind of get everybody else an opportunity to just kind of get some takeaways about what this is all about. So let's do that now. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take a break real quick. We're going to come back with Shane. He's going to give you some takeaways for today, something you can get actionable in short-term rentals, and we'll jump right back on with you after that.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections. Hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Tired of qualifying your leads and not getting the right clients for you? Join the finest women in real estate and learn how to attract the best clients and increase your referral network. Call now at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316 and become one of the finest women in real estate.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station, KCAA radio.com.
You're listening to Fabulous Lifestyle Radio. I'm your host, Ricky Perry, and we are affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and Sports, where we broadcast over 5 million households in the greater Los Angeles area. If you missed our previous shows, you can watch us on our streaming networks on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and the Android app.
Looking to attract your target market without soliciting or doing the cold calling? Call Marie Waite and book your consultation. Branding gives you the power to create a unique and classy perception of your business for your target audience. A marketing plan without the right branding will always cost more, take longer, and tend to deliver subpar results compared to a well-branded business. Marie Waite is a branding strategist who formulates effective marketing and media programs to promote your business in building your name, brand, and legacy. Marie has over 10 years of experience and a proven record of creating strong brand content for business owners, entrepreneurs, and companies using her creative ideas, recommendations, and innovative programs. Book now at mariewaite.com or call her at 951-378-5316. 951-378-5316.
Welcome back. So we're here with Shane. And Shane, look, I'm so glad that you could come in and just share this with our audience today, because short-term rental, it's amazing, and a lot of people don't know much about it. But I guess tell me from an investment side before we get out of here. Tell me from an investor's standpoint, what's so great about it? What's in it for them?
Yeah, I mean, the way that I explain it is we help investors get double-digit returns without lifting a finger, because we've already done all the work. So like I said earlier, partnering is the key to being able to have success or doing anything with any level of scale. Well, for someone that's looking to get into short-term rentals, or even they've got some money sitting on the side and they don't know what to do with it, since we've had the process figured out from A to Z, it's as easy as we build a relationship, we get to kind of know each other, and I say, okay, what is it that you're trying to get out of it? You invest in a deal with us, we send you a check every month. Typically, our investors, again, past performance is not an indication of future results, but we're seeing anywhere from 15 to 30% returns on average for these investors that invest in these deals. So we talked earlier about the size of these deals, and I don't have the money. Well, I just find investors, right? I don't need the money. I can say to the investor, hey, look, if you partner with me on this deal, you bring the money and I bring all the management and expertise on it, you can make a 20, 30% return on your money. So you get your cut, you're happy, you're excited. And now I've got an asset that I'm able to take over, manage, and also co-own with them and get my cut too.
Partnership.
Right?
Partnership. That's what you called it.
It's all partnership.
And isn't that just like a magical idea? Like it's foreign because we don't think about that. We always think like, okay, I got to do it. It's my job to do it. But what if I don't want to be a short-term rental guru, right? What if I don't want to? So you're saying I could just take my money, as long as I do my homework and I get to know you and any other investment out there with a skilled operator, I can give you my money and then get paid back.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not saying just for me. This goes for anybody else that people are talking to, right? You ask them, hey, what has been your past performance? What are the things that you're doing? What are you offering? And when I tell people the kind of splits that we're working with, they're, oh, why would I give you that much equity? I always just tell them, look at the numbers. At the end of the day, it's all just math. Show me where else in the market you can put your money into something, not lift a finger, not be responsible for any of it, right? And make these kind of returns. And so that can only happen through partnership. Plenty of people talk about, man, if I just did the deal myself, though, I didn't bring anybody outside, I'd get 100% of the deal. Sure, but now you don't have help, because who knows what these strategic investors can add to your business. They might be able to add some value in a way that you never even thought of before. Once again, I've accomplished what I've accomplished in less than 2 years, only because I partnered. Because I thought, man, I don't want to do it myself. I need other people, right? It goes the same for investors. It's the easiest way to get into real estate is partner with someone who's already doing it.
That's a great takeaway. Man, you said a mouthful, and I think you echoed every person that has been in experience, that's been doing this, that understands that they're past all, they've already, leaped off the cliff, they've already drank the Kool-Aid, they understand that. And I think you're just another example of how you take that, your own advice, and partner and be open-minded to think, I don't have to do it all myself, I'll just stick with what I know, and you get so much further. So that's, dude, I just want to say thank you very much for sharing that bit of info. And, the other thing is, if people wanted to kind of get to know you and reach out to you, if they were interested about learning about your operation and kind of how you do it, and maybe even partner with you, how would they do that? How could they contact you?
So like I said earlier, I'm not really actually present that much publicly, not for any reason other than that's just not me.
Right.
So like my social media, all that stuff, I just post memes and silly stories, right? A business investment here and there, but really the main way that I communicate with people is through email.
Okay. Say it now. What's your email address?
Yeah, I'm going to have to spell this out.
Okay.
Try to make it also a little bit more difficult. So it's info at WSPV LLC. So that stands for Wholesales Property Ventures. That's my company, right? Info at W as in whiskey, S as in Sam, P as in Paul, V as in Victor, LLC.com. So that email is kind of how I keep track of everything. It's a lot easier to communicate. Don't really text much. Again, on social media, I'm just posting memes.
You're just having fun, right?
Yeah, email is actually the main way that I communicate.
Awesome.
It's very efficient.
Awesome. So, yeah, it's either that or carrier pigeon to find
too.
you.
Yeah. Weather dependent.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, look, I feel like people are walking away today with a tremendous amount of value thanks to, you being here and just being gracious with your time and, giving some jewels here, man, because I feel like if you didn't know what short-term rentals were before this interview, you really can understand. This is a great way for you to get cash flow. Great way for you to build wealth, and really a really exciting way, because we're not talking about some janky apartment somewhere in a really bad neighborhood. We're talking about luxury rentals. How cool would it be to walk around and be like, that's my house, right?
And I don't pay $1 to own it.
I get a check over here and I invest in this.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about. That's what investing is all about at the end of the day.
Also, I want to say real quick, short-term rental real estate is actually the only way for you to also utilize the real estate yourself as an investor or operator.
Ooh.
Every other type of real estate out there, if you own an apartment building, are you going to stay in one of the units? That's not very sexy, right? If you own a long-term rental, you got a 24 to 48 hours notice to the tenant that's there to even step foot on the property, right?
For sure.
And so with short-term rentals, it's also a way that not only can you make great money, you can have fun doing it, have some cool properties, but if you want to block out a day or a week here and there, you can do that and use your own property.
It's so funny.
And guess what? You got a whole team that cleans up after you too. So you don't have to clean up your own property.
So funny. We're taking a trip to Florida and we're staying at our own short-term rental.
There you
That's
go.
so funny you said that. And you don't think about it as much, but that is sexy, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're in a space where you're enjoying what it's really supposed to be about. Ownership, freedom, cash flow.
Memories.
Yeah, that's magic, man. So look, I want to just thank you again for being here. You're awesome. You're amazing. And, man, just wish you the best in what you're doing. Thank you.
I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
You're a great man.
For sure. You're welcome. So, with Shane being here, I want to say again, on Shane's side and my side, I want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Real Men of Real Estate. We're here in San Diego. Look forward to new episodes coming up with me, your host, Mr. Foxy, Damon Hart. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask you to get out of here for now and enjoy it. But you know what you got to do before you get out of here, right? That's right. Got to keep it foxy. See you in the next one.
We can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The station that leaves no